So one is how much is enough for me. Two is dimensional analysis. Three is for every element, we multiply the atoms from the subscript with the mass in AMUs and add them all up. And you pretty much have to say everything I just said, or we're out at least a half. But again, skim for each element, multiply atoms, subscript, mass, AMU, add them up. 4 is molecules, that's covalent bonds, and formula units, that's ionic bonds. 8 is an amount, so start with the word amount. Has the same number of, on a list of 4, atoms, formula units, molecules, ions, as there are, say, atoms again, in 12 grams of carbon-12. Avogadro's number, and then 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. It's the mass in grams of 1 mole, which is probably my favorite question on this because it's so easy because you just bring the words back. Sorry if I just insulted anybody who missed that, but shame on you if you missed that one. 12, it's the same number, but we're using grams instead of AMUs. 13 is standard temperature and pressure. Half a point for 0 degrees Celsius, half a point for 273 Kelvin, half a point for 760 millimeters mercury, half a point for 760 torr. 16, it's 22.4 liters occupied by 1 mole at STP. You need the STP. If you don't have STP, you'd be out of half, because if we're not at STP, it won't occupy 22.4 liters. That'll be the topic of an entire chapter of math that we did have in physics if you're in 12th grade. PV over T equals PV over T, that stuff. 17 is a percent composition. 18 is empirical for a point, molecular for a point. Today I'm good with the simplest formula or smallest whole number ratio, but in the future I'd want both of those. Molecular, I'm good with either of, shows the actual atoms, or whole number multiple of empirical, but in the future I'd want both of those. 22 is a yes, they could be the same. 43 formula units would get you half a point, and then another half a point for describing that ionic compounds only can have empirical formula. Diagram, moles is the centerpiece, and then we've got a bunch of roads to a bunch of things that it doesn't really matter who fills which of these 3 surrounding boxes. But in one of those boxes is mass, and the connector, if you put mass, say here, the connector to mass is the periodic table. There's a particles. The connection for particles is Avogadro's number. There's a connection to volume. The connection to volume is 22.4 liters. And that's a wrap on those.
What was the 18 to 21 stuff again?
Empirical versus molecular, those are full points.
Yeah.
Then either to say simplest formula for empirical, or to say smallest whole number ratio, but on the test now we'll say both. Molecular was showing the actual atoms, or that it's a whole number multiple of the empirical.
Okay. What was the thing that goes with mass and mole?
Mass is the periodic table to connect to moles. Anybody else something to score this quiz? Did we start? Okay, so we can stop. Is that in queue?